Men don't start out hating their home. They end up there, not because of one fight, not because of one bad night, because of the tension that hits him every time he reaches for the door handle and feels it immediately in his chest. In the beginning, home is where he resets. No pressure, no performance, no second guessing. He walks in, drops everything, and finally exhales. But that feeling doesn't last. It doesn't start with him pulling away. It starts with him learning. He opens up one day and says something real, something honest, and she brings it up later. The words get twisted, repackaged, thrown in his face at the worst possible moment. So he adjusts. Next time, he keeps his mouth shut, not because he has nothing to say, because he already knows the cost of saying it. That's where it begins. Not growth, not maturity, control. He starts measuring his tone, replaying conversations in his head before they even happen. And the more he does that, the less of him actually shows up. But it's not just what he holds back, it's what he walks into. Some men don't walk into peace, they walk into scrutiny. He steps inside and immediately feels it. The look, the shift in energy, the unspoken frustration waiting for him. What didn't get done? What he should have handled better? What he forgot? What he said wrong? And everything he carried all day gets completely ignored. No acknowledgement, no appreciation, no sense that it even mattered. Just relentless correction. He can handle 100 responsibilities without hearing one positive word, but if he misses one thing, he never hears the end of it. That's what gets replayed. That's what gets stored. That's what gets used against him later. And after a while, her behavior no longer surprises him. He just expects it. And that's where it shifts. Because now it's not just tension, it's position. He's not respected in his own home. He's not valued in his own home. And nothing he does changes that. So he adapts, again, says even less, starts burying parts of himself just to keep the situation from unraveling. And here's what breaks him. Trying to keep everything calm doesn't make anything better. He keeps quiet and still gets criticized. He holds back and still gets corrected. He avoids conflict and still walks into it. So now he's doing both, holding everything in while getting worn down anyway. That's what drains him. Home stops feeling like relief. It feels like another place he has to get everything right, another place he can't afford to be wrong. And when that happens, he doesn't relax there anymore. He monitors himself. So he changes. He stops bringing anything real into that space. No opinions, no honesty, no defending himself. Just controlled responses and surface-level conversation. Because anything real comes with consequences. And over time, that creates distance. Not loud distance, silent distance. He's sitting there, but mentally, he's somewhere else. Detached. Checked out. And then it shifts again. He stops rushing home. He slows down before pulling into the driveway. He sits in his car longer than he used to, finds reasons to stay out later because he already knows what's waiting on the other side of that door. And that's when it becomes clear. He's not coming home to peace. He's walking into pressure. And once he sees that, he can't ignore it anymore. Because now it's not just about one argument, it's the environment. And what that environment is slowly turning him into. Because when a man lives like that long enough, that tension doesn't stay contained. It follows him. He becomes less direct, less certain, less present, because he trained himself to hold everything inside. And that shows up everywhere. In how he speaks, in how he carries himself, in how people respond to him. And eventually, that becomes who he is. Not just at home, everywhere. And the worst part? He doesn't even realize it's connected. He thinks he's just exhausted, burnt out. But what he's actually dealing with is what constant pressure and constant criticism do to a man over time. Because when nothing you do feels like enough, you stop showing up like it matters. And the cost? It's not just the relationship, it's the version of himself he loses. And that doesn't come back easily. So what does he do? Most men stay silent, or they wait until everything builds inside and they suddenly snap. Neither fixes it, because the real problem isn't just her. It's what he's been allowing, what he's been tolerating, what he's been adjusting to without ever drawing a line. Because when you keep adapting without setting boundaries, you teach her that nothing needs to change. So the way out of this isn't silence, and it isn't losing control. It's clarity, direct, composed, unapologetic. Say what needs to be said. Be direct, stand on it, and lead. Because here's the truth. If a man has to filter himself just to keep the peace, he's not living in peace. He's living under pressure and control. And once he sees that, he has a choice. To keep adjusting and slowly disappear in his own life, or stop accepting it. Because staying silent is permission that nothing needs to change, and that he'll tolerate anything without consequence. And that's the line. Not when he notices it, when he decides, no more. He's done living like that